We are
Good
live. Good.
morning.
Good morning, you, Jennifer Lacey. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm got a lot going on, and I feel good, and I'm excited. It's a 3-day weekend, so I don't have a whole lot going on this weekend. I was telling people like my goal is to just not be on my computer tomorrow. That's my goal.
Because it's a holiday weekend. I
Yes, which you
always.
forget all the time because you're like you don't your world does not revolve around normal holidays like families and people
Yep.
do. And so people plan and prepare for that, and then you just forget that it's a holiday half the time.
Yeah. Though I remember three: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Halloween.
Okay.
Those are three that I remember. Like the rest of them. And now I say I remember, and I'll still schedule a meeting on those days.
Oh yes. We
Right?
always wonder like, why is nobody showing up?
I have a call there, and people are like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Like, oh, my bad. Uh, man, all right. So we gotta like I got the randomizer set up.
Good.
I'm wondering who all we got out there in the Omniverse today. We are talking about what exactly are you signaling? Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
What does that mean, Jen? You told me to make the thing, and I'm like, what is this going to be about?
I mean, you were kind of cryptic in most of your promoting of what we're going to talk about. I think it's a carryover. So we've been talking about for the last couple of live streams, like your personal brand, or how are you selling yourself, or how are you, helping people around you know your value or your purpose or what you want to accomplish. And I think we're now at the point to where like what are you doing? What does that look like? And now it's like, okay, how can you intentionally do something?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I talk about is today. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm going to stir the pot a little bit because I really believe a lot of people don't know what they're actually signaling. Like, and we'll get into it, but there's intent and there's reality.
Yes.
They're not always the same thing. But before we go there, look, we got some early risers.
Kirby Coach. Good morning, Kirby.
She's down with the Halloween.
I know.
What is that signaling? That signals that I like to play dress up. That's what it signals.
Yes.
And then we got Miss Lisa Favec. Hello, Lisa.
Good morning. I don't know if I've seen her, but if not, we're going to know really quick because we're going to talk about Blue Hearts in a minute. Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for being here.
And then we got Mr. Jim Guntorius coming in with the deck. Man, I've been seeing some pictures of his that he takes from the deck. The view is amazing. I'm like,
nice.
Dude, I never noticed that. One day it was like a sunset pic or something. I'm like, damn, we got to go spend some time on that deck out there. So his wife's there, so we can't get him in trouble. Okay,
don't call him out too much.
Oh man, so glad y'all are joining us on this holiday weekend.
Yes.
So before we get raring and going, Jen, we got some housekeeping.
We do. So those of you that are out there listening, and we hope we have some new people, and we hope we have some returners that are just kind of busy. We know it's a holiday weekend. It's kind of, Jim is out on the deck, but some of you may be running around or just listening to us in the air. So we do have one ask of you for those of you that may not be able to be super engaged today. And then even those of you that are just stopping by for the first time. So we would like, if this is your first time either listening to us and showing up on the show, or you've been listening and you maybe just haven't contributed to the conversation, you haven't typed anything in the comments or stuff like that, our ask of you is if you would just put a blue heart in the comments. So you can write blue heart, you can right click and go to emojis and put a blue heart. But we are asking you to do that because that signals some things for us. Number one, it lets us know that you are here and you are showing up and we want to recognize you. But it also signals to our No BS tribe that we got some new community members. And what that does is it helps them connect with you here. But it also, if you're out on social media and you're out there doing some things, we kind of help support and jump on and contribute to the things you're trying to do out there to spread your message and to spread your word. So it's kind of We got a couple things we do in the background once we see those blue hearts. That's what I'm waiting for. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, we got the blue heart.
Yes, I knew. I was like, I think it's coming. Awesome. Yeah. Well, welcome and thank you for being here. And those of you that are listening, please connect with Lisa. Let her know, love on her. Let her know how much this community just cares about its people, and we want to continue to help it grow.
Yes. And Lisa also says, y'all have too much energy. We don't even know, Lisa.
We're just getting started.
And for everybody that comments or drops an emoji or something in the chat, you're going to get thrown into the randomizer. And so what that means is at the top of the hour, we'll do the little randomizer. It's a raffle. And if the person that gets selected gets a free seat to the next Emotional Bungee Jumpers call and the next Cultivation Crew call, which is on reflection. And you know, Jen, because of the holiday, we didn't have our jumpers call full out because, you know, people were traveling and getting ready to go party. So this next call, we're going to have a bunch of new people.
We're going to have a big group.
Overs and then anybody that makes it in today. So one of those people that actually made the call yesterday, Mr. Bernard Hammonds. What's going on, Mr. Bernard?
You got another blue heart.
Yeah, and he's signaling, come on. Yes. Oh. All right, so we are going to have some fun today, folks. We got a question. Again, the topic is, what exactly are you signaling? Like, what signals are you putting out to the world? And I know that's kind of broad and open, but like, are you doing it on purpose? Do you know it's working?
And is it the right one? Is it the right signals?
Is it the right signal, right? And so first question for the Omniverse. So if you're out there, ponder on this question a little bit. Leave us your answer in the comments. And if you got any advice, tips, and tricks, please share them because, like Jen said earlier, this is a community. And we are working to enhance the quality of life of everybody on these calls. And so whenever we get those cheat codes, man, I know I use a bunch of them. It's super helpful. But here's the question. What do you think people say about you when you are not in the room? And so how is this related to signaling, Jen? And how should we think about this?
Well, I will answer that, and then I'm going to ask you the question, Jesse. So first is how does this relate to signaling? Is I think a lot of times we come in or we show up somewhere, and our first inclination, if maybe it's a new group of people or it's maybe a group of people that we want to make sure they know our value or they know the things that we can contribute to, we show up. And then we kind of feel like we have to like run through our resume or we have to validate or we have to, I'm going to say posture a little bit. We have to kind of come in to kind of let people know, hey, I'm kind of a big deal. I know what I'm talking about. And sometimes that may be necessary because it's you know, you feel like you need to help the people get there faster. And I mean, we've all probably been in those rooms where people are trying to help us get somewhere faster. And so the reason that I think this resonates, Jesse and I talk about this a lot, is when we talk about signaling and we talk about things that we're doing, that how they show up, how people receive them, the perception, all those things, is that everything you do, it doesn't have to be in that room. Every conversation you have, maybe your people that you hang out with, the way you show up on the socials, all of those things are signals. And all of those things, you are putting little, you know, you're putting little things out there for people to look at, listen, observe, pay attention. And why does it matter of what do people think about you when you're not in the room? Is that sometimes those signals will get you invited into rooms maybe that you aren't normally in. And there are also signals, Jesse, and I'm going to say, because this may be more applied to you sometimes, is that it's also signals for, Jesse may not be my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. Jesse may not be what I'm looking for. Now, it doesn't mean Jesse's doing anything wrong or anything that is not helping his business and helping him do what he does. But when we are able to do those things and put signals out, it gives people a little bit of flavor of the person we are, what's important to us, our passions, our purpose, those kind of things that I think really matter when it comes to as we grow in our careers and we're really trying to make an impact and influence things. Like, what rooms are people talking about us in, but also what rooms are we getting invited into? Okay. So Jesse, I'm going to ask you the question now, and then I want you to respond and then let us know, like, what do you think people think about when you are not in rooms?
Yeah, no, I love it. So I love what you pointed out, right? Like, it's what we are signaling can get us invited or excluded. We need to be aware of that. And you also said it's not just the words that you're saying, it's your interaction on all the socials, it's your body of work, it's like everything. Now, there's no one person has a full view of everything that everybody's doing, which is important to like account for, because people know like a sliver of what I'm doing and what I've been up to and la 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 la. And so it's I guess bottom line is we gotta be aware and strategic and intentional about what we're signaling. And like, so how do we signal, right? We signal when we speak to people. We signal when we're listening to people or not listening to people. We signal with what we post or repost or comment on or like those are all, for real, I pay attention to what my people interact with. Mm-hmm. And there's times when I'm like, why are you interacting? Like, why are you supporting that? Like, and it's a deeper subject, but it's a thing that I pay attention to and makes me wonder, wait a minute, that doesn't necessarily align with the story he or she's been telling me, mm-hmm. or the story that I understood when I talked to them one-on-one versus how they show up on the internet or how they show up in crowds of people. And so all of those things, like, I know some people are probably going to get a little bit of anxiety, like, oh my God, like it's a lot, and it's okay. But bottom line is this: knowing, or rather embracing the fact that we're always signaling, and those signals will get us invited or excluded. So do it on purpose, or try harder to do it on purpose. Part of me wants to say, like our sister, Sarah, who is at the cabin, which is really more of a castle than a cabin because we've been there. She's like, I have no idea anymore. I'm less worried about it these days. I simply focus on being myself and connect with who I connect with. And so, like, word, right? Same here. Like, I say same here, but I'm pretty intentional, or I think I am, about what I'm signaling and why I'm signaling that. And so, to answer this question, what I think people say about me when I'm not in the room is that I got a lot of energy, is that I'm goofy, that I'm unconventional, and I can get on people's nerves. That's what I think people say about me when I'm not in the room, which is and part of it is because that's what I want to make people know, like, what was Miss Lisa, right? Like, yeah, I have a lot of energy, and you haven't even seen me live, like with a group of people. It's 10x whatever you're experiencing now. And so for me, it's really important to help people understand what my energy is, the intensity of my energy, because it doesn't go down. Like, when my energy is down, it is in isolation. Like, I will isolate myself. Yes. I also want people to know that I'm going to say what I've experienced, think, and believe. And one of the most important things that I get a lot of attention for, and I talk about a lot, is my lack of care for grammar, spelling, and punctuation, right? And when I noticed people were paying attention, so maybe here's a cheat code, right? Pay attention to what people are paying attention to. Mm-hmm. Social media makes that super, super easy, because they will comment whatever about or against, in favor of or against whatever you've posted or whatever you said or whatever you did incorrectly or whatever. And so when I started noticing people were like, oh, correcting me on my grammar, I'm like, whoa, that was an accident because I don't care. But now I need to do it on purpose and be explicit about it. Because it helps signal to people, right? Like, my core audience, the people I love to serve are folks that come from the field, that have been in construction, doing work and installation, where grammar, spelling, and punctuation has no value.
Mm.
And I believe, and I've been told from that cohort of people, that the fact that I just speak the way I speak and write the way I write gives them confidence to have more communication. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now, what does it also do? It lets other people know, like, this fool, like, he don't even know how to read, right? Which is fine. And so what I think people say in the room are this kind of fun, he's a fun guy, crazy guy, you know, he knows some stuff, he's probably a lean guy or whatever. But I found out that that's not always what's being said about me in the room. People have a much higher opinion of me, which blows my mind. And like, if I wish I kind of sometimes think like, man, if I could message what they're saying, that would be super valuable. But if I did that, would they have the same assessment of me? I don't think so. I don't know. That's where I'm at, Jen. How did I do?
No, one great answer. And I've been in rooms where, Jesse, I could speak to you and your flaws and your pros and your cons, and I can speak to everything because we spend so much time together. But there's a lot of times we're in rooms that you know, it's not my place to say it, or it's not my place to bring it up. But I've been in rooms where they're like, well, you know, the stuff Jesse does, or the stuff this, or hey, this would be really good because of this. And I get to sit there and like feel it and get to share it with you on, yes, they love your energy. And yes, they know that you may salsa dance into the room, and that you may push people, and you may cuss a little bit, and you may do those things. But they're also talking about your body of work and the way that you care about the human being, and the way that you care about the trades, and the way that you have found resources and tools and processes to really focus on how to make work better.
Yeah.
Specifically for the people doing the work. Like, those are things that are proven. Like, people see it. Those are now conversations that are happening in rooms that you're not in, to the point to where he's figured it out. We need to get him with this so that they can make it like, and I get to sit there and listen and watch it. So yes. And they're also starting to, I'm not saying starting, I'm just in rooms where I get to hear it, but I'm sure it's happening in other places. So I think it's cool to watch and see some of that happen, because those are the signals that people get to see on the socials, and they get to see a lot of the things you're doing. But people are not just going, oh yeah, Jesse, on social media. Now they're just like, there's actually bodies of work that you've done and proven, and that now people are like going, you need to get in touch with him. You need to talk to him because he's the one that's kind of figured some things out. So yes.
So I think it's the ultimate. But I want to, you made this point earlier, and I want to hammer it again. I've been in business 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen on year 1, right? It kind of a little bit started happening on year 2, and now year 3, it's really starting to happen. I mean, so much so that I have a whole full day learning session at Congress this year
on this topic,
on this thing, on sweat equity improvement. And now I want to throw this out there to the Omniverse. And before that, let me say hi, Mr. Abbas.
Good morning.
Frequent flyer. What's up, my brother? How you doing, my man? Good morning or evening. It's probably evening where he's at. It's not because every time I meet people, I say, this is one of the core services I offer, and this is sweat equity. Like, I haven't done that. And I've been chastised by a lot of people like, dude, you need to be more blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, I know, but I don't like to do it that way. Body of work. I've been doing it for years, and tinkering and testing and experimenting and proving and then sharing and inviting and educating and for years. And now this is happening, right? And so I think that's a super important point that maybe the Omniverse has lived through. Maybe they have some insight on it. Is like, when you're trying to get a message out there, what is the appropriate time horizon to view things, right? Because, and how does that relate to signaling? I know a bunch of people, and right now I could be accused of this because depending on how you look at it, right? But I know a bunch of people that, and I'm talking over years in my career before social media was a big part of my life, that have an idea or a thing, right? A message, we'll just say that. They have a message they want to get out of, change they want to introduce to the world. They start releasing it, and they're at it about 30, maybe 45 days, and they stop. Mm-hmm. And they do another one, and then they do a different one, and then they do a different one. And like, I understand the idea of pivoting and the value of pivoting, but I wouldn't qualify that as pivoting. I would qualify that as not having the endurance to get the message out there. What do you think about that, Jen?
Well, yes, I agree. And the way that hit me is, I think sometimes, and you and I've talked about this, our podcast, live stream, the things you and I've been able to do over the course of almost 4 years, like early on, we talked about imposter syndrome. We talked about trying to figure out who you are and what you're trying to do. And I think where to hit your pivot, I got to figure this out. I think where people go wrong, or maybe that they're a little bit not clear, they don't have a lot of clarity, is they keep trying to recreate something. Mm. They keep trying to, they're trying to look at the outside world, look at what people want, look at what people need, and then cater themselves or create themselves into something that fits those needs. And again, sometimes people have to work through that part. But what I think what we've seen is once, and it may have, while we were figuring ourselves out and what's important to us and what in the way we show up, it was authentic and it was real and it was honest, and it may have been messy and it may have been a little bit confusing and it may have been a little bit I'm still figuring it out. But the way we showed up, that came through.
Yeah.
The way we showed up, it was clear Jesse, you may not know me from Adam, but you know where my heart is, and you know what's important to me. And you know that if I show up and I have a conversation, the things that are gonna matter to me, like, that. And most of socials know that, and most of my people know that, and most of the people that I interact with know that.
Yep.
Now, I don't have to be super clear on here's my goals and here's my 5-year plan and my 3-year plan and here's what I'm trying to accomplish and here's my career plan and all those. I don't have to have all that figured out if I am showing up authentically and I'm showing up real and I'm still figuring stuff out. That part I think people get confused on, is that I've got to make sure I'm catering my messaging and I'm making sure I'm adjusting it because I need that person to hear it. Or I need that room to want me to be in the room with. Like, to me, that's what I've observed. And I don't want to even say it's wrong. It's just, that's how people function.
Yes.
And then they realize that, and I love Sarah's point, is like, and then you realize, like, I don't care. Like, yeah. I'm going to be me, and I may get invited into that room. I may not get invited into that room. And you and I've had this conversation. And the point I want to make is, when you can get comfortable and be confident that you may not get invited into the room, and that's okay, because I 100% feel that if I get invited into a room now, they know what to expect. I have a seat at the table and my voice will be heard.
Yes. Yes. You're not just table dressing, like being present because you work so hard to get invited. So a couple of huge things that you touched on. First, for real, I played that game. What do I need to say? Like, I'm a master manipulator. You know that, Jen. And folks, if you think I'm this super sweet, altruistic guy, I wasn't. Like, I'm sweeter now.
He is now. He's getting better.
I'm getting better. Thank you. I'm getting better. So I know how to manipulate people. And it's pay attention to what they value, pay attention to what they like, contort myself to fit that mold of whatever it is they're looking for. In the short term, I get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I didn't know when I was living that life, and social media makes it so easy to do that. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't see was as I was contorting myself, my beliefs, my values, hell, I didn't even have any values. But anyways, what I was doing was I was creating the conditions of which I was going to have to live in. But I didn't like those conditions. So I created this world that was responding to a fabricated version of me that was not designed for me. It was designed for this other thing that I was trying to be, to get attention from whatever, from people, to get whatever I wanted from people. I know that might be, that sounds messy. The point is this: when I shifted back to Sarah's point and back to your point, when I shifted to like, no, this is what I value, this is what I believe in, and whether it gets me invited or gets me likes and follows or whatever the shit, this is who I am, and this is the world I am creating. I'm creating the world either way, my world. And when I stay true to me, what I'm interested in, or maybe I don't know, like, because right out of the gate, I didn't know what it was. But by constantly articulating it and getting out there and working and doing things, it became clearer. Along the way, I was attracting the people, the opportunities, the relationships that helped me get up on my feet. Before, I was like always wondering, when's it going to break? When are people going to just appreciate me for me? When am I going to get to share the message that's really, really down here in my heart? And it was never going to happen because the conditions weren't set. I was attracting people like me. I was attracting opportunities that were not opportunities. They were soul-sucking, we'll just say invitations to things. And it was never going to end until I shifted to be more vulnerable, to embrace a little more risk. And when I say risk, I mean like to my feelings, to my gentle, delicate little feelers. And that helped me get to where I needed to be. The second point I want to make, and we got a lot of comments, so I'm going to come to the comments next. But the second point I want to make is like we collided. I was watching you before we collided. Right? Like we connected. I know we were connected on LinkedIn. We met in person at 2019 at LCI Congress. It was a real quick interaction, but I'm like, oh, she's like for real. I need to learn more about this person. So over some time, watching you on the LinkedIn and out there in the community, construction community, I could see like, oh, she really does care about people. Oh, she really does want to make a difference. Oh, she's volunteering and working on some big crazy ass idea that's impossible and it may not come to fruition in her lifetime, and she's still doing it. So like I had that general assessment of you, and then we were on a live stream with a bunch of other people and I saw it again, and this time like in flying colors, right? Like you weren't combating for time, scratching and clawing to be heard. You sat back, let people scratch and claw. And when you had something to say, you said it, and then you backed off and let it go. And that I'm like, I need to connect with this person, right? Like that's who I need to talk to about the 5S love letters idea. And then that turned into a book, and then that turned into No BS with Jen and Jess. And my point in sharing that with everybody is I could see over a period of time, and I'm talking like a couple years, that this was who you were. At least you were very consistent about it. And that signaled to me like, okay, I want to collaborate with that human being because of these things. It wasn't like you sent me a pitch and said, or I was sourcing. I sent out
I thought you were going to say you sent me a pic, and I'm like, wait a minute, there was no picture exchange.
And so the main point I want to make to people is like, what are you signaling over time? Like over 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. I think it's real easy. It's a trap, but it's real easy to get in the idea of I'm going to message hard so that I can get the so I can cash that in the short term.
Mhm.
That's a way to do things. But it lends itself to, okay, that didn't work. I need to try something else. Okay, that didn't work. I need to try something else, which also sends another signal.
And can
All
all
right.
be found on social media. So if someone's searching you and looking back at your stuff and it's like, oh, this is important. Oh, this is important. Oh, this is important. Oh, this is important. It's also going to show that, okay, which one is them? Which one is is who they really are, and they're really, this is what they represent. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm at risk of that right now. And I've had a couple people point it out. So on LinkedIn, my messaging, my content has a flavor to it. On Instagram and Facebook, it's a little different. Rather, it's more pointed. It's 100% focused on helping foremen build planning skills. And so I've had people that are like, dude, are you like shifting your business? I'm like, no, I'm still the same business. I've always had that course. I'm just trying to learn how to do ads on Facebook, which has been amazing. Not cheap, but amazing. And I discovered that there is a need for that thing. So I'm just on Facebook and Instagram, I'm just focusing on planning skills for foremen and not all the other stuff. And on LinkedIn, I'm focusing on all the other stuff, kind of mostly just focused on connection and serving. The reason being, from a business perspective, the density of foremen, superintendents out there on social media are on Facebook and Instagram. They're not necessarily on LinkedIn. And I'm talking about trade foremen and superintendents. So that's why I'm doing it. But it does. Some people are like, what? Like, did you stop doing the consulting lean stuff? Like, oh, no, I'm still doing that. But anyways, something that I needed, like, oh shit, that's not the signal. I need to, like, it's okay. It's not bad, but I needed to be aware of it. So,
okay,
Miss Elizabeth
Elizabeth.
She's another one of those human beings that's just hard at it, serving the community, building her business, supporting her people. And you can see it. I've had coffee with her a couple times. It's like all the time, every time, all the time.
Yes.
Mr. Clyde King, another one, right?
Yes.
He's been his daily construction thoughts. He's on year 2 now and still clicking, still going out there, still serving.
And supporting the community, supporting the people around him, really looking at the next generation of builder. Like he's doing all the things. Yes.
So, folks, if you haven't picked up on it, this is what people say when you're not in the room, because technically you're not in the room. Sarah, she says it's also crazy the rooms that she gets invited to with some of the things she's posted. So she's got Bring Out Your Badass Self. And they don't talk about, and I love it, and I'm almost never on the lives, but I'll catch the replays. They don't talk about the typical standard templated stuff that most people are talking about and posting about. And still she's getting invited, right? She's very vulnerable. She's straight up saying what she's got to say, what she believes, what her experiences are. And it's creating the conditions for her to be invited to things. It's like, whoa, how did I get here? So my point being is, her situation, my situation, I think yours also, and a lot of the tribe, is give your message about what you really believe and live, and it'll open the doors. It'll open the doors that you've been hoping for. Saying the message you think people want to hear, that's a different deal, right? That's a totally different deal. Miss Megan, do you know Megan, Jen?
I do. I get to hang out with her in a couple weeks, and and Megan's going to be also presenting at LCI Congress in Arlington.
She presenting with Lynn?
She is.
Oh my God, 2 of my favorite people. So Megan says that's the danger of projecting something you are not. You have to continue to play that role. Yes.
I want to speak to that specifically because you and I have talked about it, and I've said this over and over again. Megan, I'm going to double down on this. My daddy's been gone almost 23 years. And the thing he told me early on, and I live by it, he says, Jennifer, when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. And I am telling you, like, it's so simple, but it feeds into what she just said. If you tell the truth in your interactions with your people, you're not posturing, you're not maybe saying something that's not quite true. I don't have to remember the next time I'm hanging out with that person or that group, or I don't have to remember what I told them, because if I'm just speaking the truth, then I'm good.
That's it. That's it. And now, because I've lived this life, right? I know that I can be 2 or 3 different people, right? And that's like a third of the voices in my head. But the amount of energy it takes to be this person here and this person here and this person here, and the memory, like I got to remember what lies I told, what stories I
Yes.
told. Like, it's possible, but it's freaking exhausting.
It's hard.
So, like, if you're thinking about it, just let me tell you guys, it's freaking exhausting. It takes an enormous amount of energy. And for me, it stole joy from my life.
Yeah.
All right, we got some people coming in. Oh, look, we got a correction. Clyde said he's starting freaking the 3rd year. Body of work, baby, right? And now here's what's beautiful. I don't know, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm pretty sure he had like DeWalt in Milwaukee. They haven't come and said, let us sponsor you. And like, he's doing this because he cares about it.
Oh my gosh, yes. And if you don't follow him, you need to go follow him.
You need to follow Clyde. And so for me, back to the idea of like, what is the time horizon of the signal that you're going to be sending? When I care about it, like Clyde, well, I aspire to be like Clyde. When I really care about it, I can do it for a super, super long time. When I'm doing it to cash in and like get a return and get money or get, whatever a thing is, it's hard for me to do it for a long period of time because I don't get the signals back like, hey, we really want this thing, right? And so key point is, man, make damn sure you care about it so that you can keep doing it.
Yeah. We're a good example of that. Is that I'm going to be honest. Like, people get on my nerves, and it is what it is. There are people, I love them. I want nothing bad to happen to them. I genuinely care about them, but I also make choices to not be in their spaces all the time. And again, Jesse, we're going on 4 years, and we talk, if not daily, we talk a lot. And we're on the socials a lot. We're in person a lot. We just have conversations to help us both grow a lot. And I told Jesse, I do not know how I am not tired of you. I am not sick of you. I have not punched you in the face. And we're still like figuring things out, like 4 years in. And to me, that's what you're talking about. It's like, if you find something that it connects with your heart and your purpose and your core and what matters to you, you don't feel those things.
Yeah.
Where other spaces we're in, and when you do feel those things that are like, that's a signal that 100%. You probably should reassess.
Yes, 100%. I mean, for me, and if anybody out there in the Omniverse is wondering, like, okay, this all sounds great, but how the hell do you get there? This is how I got there. I figured out how I best serve.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out how my experiences, my failures, a lot of those, my wins, a little bit of those, how that could contribute to the path of other people. And when I focus my energy and my time on serving it, I can do it forever, because like and again, I'm not altruistic, right? Like, it's selfish, because when I serve people and I can see I'm impacting their lives in even the smallest way, I get fulfilled and I get fueled to keep doing that again. So it's really like, yeah, I'm serving, but I'm doing it so I can feel good and keep doing cool stuff. Mr. Clyde says, keeping my voice authentic to my experience, not what he read, not what somebody else said, to what he's experienced, has gotten him invited to many things, and sometimes does make life. Oh, yeah. Let's not forget about that. Does make life extremely busy. So I know we didn't have this on the agenda, Jen, but
that's okay.
Since you've gotten super since you've gotten clear and helped other people understand what you stand for and what you bring to the table, has your life gotten busier?
Yes, absolutely. And so a lot more. And again, we just had this conversation, Jesse, but the conversation, the asks I'm getting of now, the conversations, the people that have invited me to do things, it's not something that I had on my bucket list. It's not stuff that okay, here's my 3-year plan, and in 3 years I should be here. It's none of that. It is people that are seeing and witnessing things that are happening that I'm doing, and they want me to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's been the magic, is that it wasn't my list of things that I'm trying to accomplish. It was people going, whatever that is, we need that. I want that, and I want that. We need more of that in here. And I think that's the coolest thing. And I want to make a point to that, is when you show up authentically, when you show up your real, what your real purpose and your passion, the places I'm getting invited into now, I'm not disappointed. So I don't show up and go, oh yeah, this is like, because they know what they're getting.
Yeah.
And like, I know it sounds all like rainbows and sunshine, but like really understand that if you show up, Sarah, Clyde, you show up your authentic self, and you're out there and you're grinding and you're doing your thing. Like, there's a resume. I can provide my resume, Jesse. I can provide my list of accomplishments, my list of awards, I can do all that, and I can put it on a piece of paper and I can put it in front of somebody. But you are literally expounding who you are, your worldly resume, by putting yourself out there and people getting to see who you are. Like you said, like you watched me way before we ever even talked.
Yep.
So like, the more that you're out there and you're being authentic, when you do have that initial conversation or someone does invite you in, you don't have to come in and go, okay, let me tell you the reason why I should be in this room. You don't have to start like that.
Right. Totally. Mr. Martin Jones coming in from YouTube land says, yes. And we got to give a shout. We got Miss Janice.
Good morning, Janice with the blue heart. Good morning.
Blue heart. You already know, Swarm, Miss Janice.
Go connect.
She just got herself into the randomizer. So quick reminder, y'all, all the lurkers out there, if you make a comment, drop a blue heart. You already know we love you. We want to love on you. But making a comment in the chat gets you into the randomizer, which, if you get selected at the top of the hour, you will get a free seat to Emotional Bungee Jumpers and the Cultivation Crew here in the upcoming weeks. And Clyde, I saw your note about not being able to make it. Don't worry, we're going to redo it, and you're on the list for next month.
It was not a lot of people. It was just
Bernard, me, and Jen. We also got Mr. Jake Jones, a nomadic estimator. He says, running a little late this morning, but finally here. I know you're traveling the world, brother, so no problem. And
I saw Jamie. I think Jamie Knox. I saw her up there somewhere. Yes. Thank you, Jamie, for being here. I know she's probably running around too.
Oh, there she is. Jamie Knox. Good morning, Jamie. She's another troublemaker for the outreach crew for LCI Congress.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to pull. There's a question here that I want to go to, but after I post the next question.
Okay.
The question is this. Oh, this is a heavy question. When was the last time your intent didn't match your impact? And so what I'm taking from this is, when was the last time I was signaling something, trying to achieve something, trying to contribute something, and it didn't, like, the outcome was like, ooh, that's not at all what I planned on. That's not what I wanted to happen. But the fact is, whatever I said, did, etc., is what contributed to that outcome. So that's the question to the Omniverse. I'm going to go to this one question that our buddy, Mr. Charlie Dunn, asked. But before that, something you said earlier, Jen, you said accomplishments. And so when I think about the fundamental shift that I made in my life that has produced outstanding and amazing outcomes, is shifting from accomplishment to contribution.
Mm-hmm.
shifting from collecting my trophies and my awards and to contributing whatever knowledge and experience I have. The result of that shift has been freaking gigantic. Like, there's no way I could have ever scripted the experience I'm having today, following the books, the self-help and all of that stuff. Like, I did those things and I did good. I got promotions and but I didn't have the same level of fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And that came from shifting from accomplishment to contribution. Do I still accomplish shit? Hell yeah, I do. Am I still competitive and driven? Hell yeah, I am. Mm-hmm. But that is not the primary focus anymore. The primary focus is contribution. And as a result of that, accomplishments happen. Mm-hmm. And life is just so much sweeter. So that's my swan song. So Charlie asked a question. He says, Facebook for foreman makes sense. How did you figure it out? I'm also finding as I travel that in smaller communities, more businesses are on Facebook. Wall Street is more LinkedIn, Main Street, more Facebook and Instagram. Yes. So Charlie, the way I figured it out was the simple generic way was like by looking at the people that interact with my stuff on LinkedIn. And they're most of those folks are managers, department heads, C-suite type folks, directors, etc. And this was maybe a couple of years ago. I was really trying to connect with foremen and like trade contractor field leadership. And it wasn't happening. I kept trying and trying and trying. I was like, okay. So I did a search on LinkedIn and it's like, oh, well, there's not a lot of them. Like they had it. And then I thought, wait a minute. Yeah, see, when you were a foreman, right? When you were a foreman, were you on LinkedIn? Well, no, because LinkedIn didn't exist then. Now, okay, fine. When I was a superintendent for a mechanical contractor, I did get on LinkedIn. I didn't have a profile pic like most of those folks don't. And I was engaged on it once a month, but I went to it for a different reason. It was to read articles. Back then, it was just to read articles and maybe post a picture of me speaking somewhere or something dumb, right? And so it's like, okay, they are not here. And then our friend, the construction Yeti, Matt Graves, he had been posting his memes and he blew up on Instagram. So that was like, that was like, here's stupid. If you can't figure it out, let me show you. And when I looked at his stuff, like the engagement on his post, it was all the people that I want to help, like that audience that I was missing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, duh, Instagram and Facebook, Jesse. And so that's how I got there. Now, can I serve all of them? Absolutely, I can. Who am I underserving? It's the trades. And that's where my focus is, because my hypothesis is I'm not the only one underserving them. So anyways, where I got lost, Jen. Where am I?
You addressed Charlie's comment, which was good. And then it segued into we're going to hit this question and get some responses. But I know we have another name that I haven't seen before, but he doubled down on your statement.
Yeah, Jeremy. What's going on, Mr. Jeremy? Says the guy. Yep, they're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. TikTok for sure. You and I were talking about this earlier, Jen. I had I'm kind of off TikTok.
gets a couple viral videos, and all of a sudden,
I have a couple videos that got like over 100,000 views. I'm like, oh my god, I've only been on social media for 5 years, and finally, it's all trade based, foreman facing type stuff that's blown up there. And so again, those were the sick. And again, so we've been talking a lot about like the signals we send, but also what signals are we paying attention to? Mm-hmm. And it's very easy for me to like miss them a bunch, but they're out there, and social media is a nice place to concentrate, to get concentrated signals. Miss Megan says, when I communicate recklessly, not making intentional choices about tone and style based on who I'm talking to, my impact drops dramatically. Often because my intent is misinterpreted. What do you think about that, Jen?
Well, yeah, she's answering the question. And I was kind of in the same, because I knew you were going to ask me this question. But I think my answer to this question is very similar to Megan is that, and it's not the recklessness part of it. It's, I have high energy, and most people know that. And so that's I'm not saying I was using it as a mask. It was just because it was so overpowering. That is all people saw.
Yep.
So all my everything else that came with it, there was value there, and they were receiving it. But my energy is what they were like, yeah, Jennifer, her energy, like that was the connection they were making. And nothing wrong with that. But also, if that is not what I want to be remembered for, I had to be intentional on how I was messaging. What did that look like? Did I build up to it? Did I, so the tone, those kind of things. And so it feeds into my answer for this is, when was the last time your intent didn't match your impact? It's when the people receiving it didn't care. And so I think there's a couple of things is, if I'm doing what I think is right, and and in my mind, this is the direction I need to go, and these are the things I need to focus on, and I am delivering where I see value to the wrong people, or to people that are not there yet, what do I do? And that I had to work through that. I had to go, if I believe in this enough, and you and I've had lots of conversations where I was crying, or I was upset, or I was frustrated, lots of conversations where, and I think the end result is, but is this what you believe in? Do you see where this could go and what it could do? And if the answer was yes, I needed to realize that sometimes it wasn't me.
Yep.
And that's hard, because most of those people that you are speaking to are trying to, I'm not saying convince, but you're trying to show them a better way, a different way, value, something that's change and all that. Like the first response is like, no, that can't happen, or no, that's not what we want to do, or no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
That will stop people in their tracks.
Yes.
And like, it's not their fault, but if the person that you're trying to communicate to isn't, whether it's the right person or they're not in a receiving place, like, you have to have the grit and the wherewithal to keep going.
Yes. Oh, so two things come to mind, and I have a little example on this one, but maybe not two things, two words come to mind, right? Like, when you put yourself out there and start sending the signals, you have to, like, without a doubt, 100%, or maybe I just don't know how to do it right. You gotta be ready, prepared for rejection.
Yes.
Your idea is going to get rejected. Like, you don't know, you don't understand. My situation's different. Like, that's never going to work. I've done it this way a million, like, whatever. So like a sub point to that is, you got to know that they're not, maybe not know, you just got to believe. This is what I say. All right, Jesse, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting change. I'm the representative of change.
Yes.
So now, how do I work through that? Is I have a choice. I could stop, because my feelers get hurt. And guess what, folks? My feelings get hurt all the damn time. Like, I'm sensitive. I'm a delicate creature, And so if I were to shut down and play smaller and back off because of rejection, yes, I will avoid rejection. But the alternative is regret. When I avoid rejection, my feelers are super safe, right? Everything's great. And then I'm stuck with regret. And so the way I frame it is this way, like, okay, there's going to be rejection, or there's going to be regret. Which one do I want more? Which one can I live with? It's rejection all day, every day. Regret, I cannot, like, it's just not healthy for me to have that. So maybe it's a warning. If you're getting hyped up about getting your message out there and signaling and building and transforming the world, which something tells me everybody here knows that or is working on that, know that rejection is part of it. Failure is the price of entry. Rejection is how you stay in the game. Or you can live with regret, period. Now, my story of the last time my intent didn't match your impact is a little fluffier story. but I was facilitating some training for a general contractor here in San Antonio, and they had everybody, like their C-suite, their directors, their field leadership. They had everybody in the room. And I'm doing my song and dance and going through the training, la, la, la. It's a whole day thing. It was awesome. And so at the end of it, I was talking to one of their managing partners, and I'm like, hey, like, what's your assessment? Like, did I miss the mark? How did we do? And he's like, dude, it's phenomenal. And he's like, and he just said, okay. And I said, okay, like, why was it so great? Like, why did you love it? He said, Jess, you're a lean guy. We all know you're a lean guy. It's not your lean knowledge that was impactful. It was you got our people excited. You got our people open-minded about these things and doing them out on the job site. And so my intent was to educate them and shower them with all my wisdom and vocabulary. That was not it didn't match my impact. My impact was I motivated people and got people excited and got them off center.
Mm-hmm.
And when he told me that was ultra valuable, because it was one of those things that, like, oh, let me ask some other people. And they're like, oh yeah, like all that crap, everybody's saying the same thing. It's the way you get people like hungry for doing whatever that thing is. Like, holy, okay, I need to match my intent. Like in this case, I had to tweak my intent to match the impact that I was having, which produced even better outcomes. So that's my little brag there.
Well, I love that. And I think I just want to double down on the things that you said and I said, and I hope the audience heard, is it's easy, and we've seen it, where we get caught up in the technical, prescriptive tools, focus things, because it's important. And we know that there are things that need to be called out, celebrated, highlighted. Like we understand that. And Jesse and I have also heard that the rooms we're in, when we make a human connection, when we make a relationship, when we start talking about things that are a little bit squishy, that's the stuff they remember.
Yes.
And, and I want to call out Charlie Dunn if he's still on, just because like he leans into the Legos and the play and the being, like getting your brain back to where you remember building something new, being creative, doing something outside of the box than your normal, like those things where you're making connections and you're helping people feel something. We realized that's where we need to double down, and that's where we need to focus, because there's a lot of other things and a lot of other people focusing on things that are very, a little bit more step by step. And, here's the things you need to do that. And I think it's a balance of the two.
I agree. And understanding that, right? Like paying attention. Jeremy brings a good point. Sometimes you got to say it 10 times to the same damn person, sometimes 20. But yes, and that's okay. He goes on to say, which I think is like gangster level, the way I approach all teaching, mentoring situations is with this mindset. I'm either right and teaching someone something, or I'm wrong and I need to learn in this area. So what I love about that is he's taking ownership for the transfer of knowledge. Not saying everybody's dumb and they're not open-minded and they don't care. He's saying, oh, I'm either right, and if I'm not, there's something I need to learn to better connect with the person in front of me. That's heavy. I say heavy, but it's powerful perspective. And it's a lot of weight to carry all by yourself, but brings ultimate result. I know there's some people that are like, what do you mean it's my fault? It's like, we're not saying it's your fault. What we're saying is if you take ownership of it, you'll have more control of the outcome, period.
And I learned it's not personal. Like,
that's it.
And I think and whether it's my fault, their fault, our fault, they don't know, they don't care, like all of those things, like I think we forget. And as an athlete, growing up as an athlete and being on the court and playing and competitive, and like injuries and get hurt and get thrown on the ground, like all these things happen because you're wanting to win the game.
Yes.
It's not personal. I'm not like, I don't have a vendetta out against somebody.
Right.
I want to win. I want my team to win. And so in that moment, we're doing the things we need to do, it's not personal. I think
Yes.
we forget that. I think we get our feelings hurt, and they're attacking everything that I represent, and they're attacking everything that I'm doing that I know's like, no, they're not. They
Yeah.
are attacking the change that you are putting them through.
Yeah, look at, we have a super faithful fan out there that quoted me. When you're a representative of change, you best be ready for rejection. Charlie says heart before the how. Yeah, like totally. And I also know there's a bunch of folks out there that I have to do how to even have a chance at the heart.
Yes.
My preferred method, I'm with you, Charlie. Heart before the how. What is the intended outcome? What is the purpose? What is the impact it's going to have on the human being? And then we can get into the tactics. But some people need tactics first. And those people, guess what? They also have a problem with my spelling, which is okay. Because
You may be doing some stuff with Charlie too. So Charlie, just so you know, don't have him do any of the grammar for anything that y'all are working on together.
Yeah, I get to share the stage with him and I just forgot his name, Dr. Some super smart dude. Like, I'm gonna be on stage with some really, really smart people, and I promise I'll take a shower and like get dressed up at least. So I'll be comedy relief for that presentation. So we're about to do the randomizer, but I want to read Mr. James Gable, the uncommon communicator, coming in from YouTube land. He says, put rejection into perspective. You can't make everyone happy. At best, to reach 51% is a win. You have to recognize that you probably have more silent supporters out there than you know of. Jen, what do you know about silent supporters?
We just talked about, well, let's just use this platform first, and then I'll talk about personal. But we know that people are out there and they're listening. And I think if you get caught up on, like, you need the validation, you need the people that are in the comments, like, you are going to struggle. And my personal story, which is the craziest thing ever, is my brother works for America's Best, which they do eyeglasses and all that stuff. And he's a recruiter and all that. So I was going to get my eyes tested. And so I went with him because he, got me the appointment, and we go in, and I'm going into the doctor's office for the appointment. And this older gentleman works for an optometrist, looks at me and goes, "Where's Jesse?" And I'm like, number one, what and who and huh? And he's like, "Oh yeah, I follow you and Jesse all the time on social. I follow all your stuff. Y'all are awesome. Where's Jesse?" I'm like, "I don't keep Jesse in my pocket. He lives in San Antonio. And but I will make sure I let him know that you were asking about him." Like in another world, like not even in our industry. And it was just it's those moments to let me know, like, I don't need the validation because the people show up. And I mean, again, we see them places, and like they're out there and they're watching, and you just please do not measure your success or your impact or your influence on all the touches and the likes and the comments and the share. Like, don't measure it by that.
Yeah. Yeah. The lovely, lovable lurkers, right? Yes. And that's what James's comment says, right? Like, for real, there are many silent supporters out there than you know of. And we kind of started this conversation. They're like, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room, right? They have a sense of who you are and what you can offer, what you can provide, what you can contribute, and they will propagate that. Yes. You don't even have to ask them to do that. And so the fact is, people are watching, people are paying attention, people are seeing whether they interact or not. And your absence, your lack of visibility is also sending a signal. Yes. And so the randomizer, Charlie, thank you for the reminder here that Dr. Pete Court. So Charlie, myself, Dr. Pete Court, and we're finagling maybe a surprise speaker to join us on that presentation. But man, I'm like, shoot, like, yes, please. I'd love to hang out with these people. And so It is time for the randomizer.
So what is it again, Jesse? What those that have not been here the whole time?
Yes.
So
if this is your first time here, well, we're the randomizer. If you commented and drop something in the chat, we are going to be able, you got your name thrown into the raffle. And so we're fixing to do the drawing, and the winner gets a free seat to an emotional bungee jumper session and a cultivation cruise session. So the second and fourth Friday of the month, we have a group of amazing ballers, world changers out there, and we're working on the skills that we need to leave this world better than we found it. And so if your name gets picked, you get invited. And so I'm going to hit the draw button. Oh, boss. All right. You know what? And I still owe him a template. Son of a gun. I suck. I promise this time I'll get it to you, boss. If you're not there, if you're not on the live, it's okay. I'll stalk you on LinkedIn, get you the invites. Oh, that's going to be so awesome. He's been to a couple of the after parties, so it'll be nice to have him on those sessions if he's available, if the time works out, because he's in a different part of the world, which I think is ultra awesome. All right, Jen. So it's 9:06. We got 9 minutes, and then we got the after party thing. And so what do you say we throw the reflection question out there?
Okay.
All right. So if you're available, and we're going to try something new. So I'm going to need you to carry the load a little bit here, Jen, a little bit more than normal, so I can put the link and stuff. But the thought is this: if you're available for the after party, we want to have this conversation, or at least start the conversation with this. If you're not available for the after party, we want you to chew on this question here. What's one small intentional action you can take today that would realign how people experience you with who you really are? And so if you're watching the replay, chew on that question, leave your thought in the comments. And here's why. Like, you don't have to leave it in the comments. I know that's scary, but I also know when I'm thinking about this kind of really deep stuff and I put it out into the world, it gets true faster. And so I don't know if that's a promise or a threat, but that's the question. And so, Jen, could you mind taking it over for a little bit so I could do this link sharing thing?
Absolutely. And so one, I love that we kind of do a lot of questions throughout the show, and then we usually have the after party, which is a group of us getting on and just talking through some of the stuff, that the content. And I told Jesse, I was like, man, we should, like, here's a really cool question for them to think about going forward, but not just think about it, but like share it on social media, come to the after party and talk about it. Because I think Megan said it in her comment. It's like that recklessly doing things just because, like, I like it, I don't like it. It's what I want to do. I think it's what I want to do. I need to get clear, but I'm not sure, versus being intentional. And those intentional choices. And so my story is about 3 or 4 years ago, I think, when I collided with Jesse, is I was kind of figuring out, like, what's important to me? What am I passionate about? And if you followed any of my stuff, you know that, and Adam doesn't like it very much, but like, I talk about culture a lot. And I talk about culture not just because it's a buzzword, but culture has to do with people. People have to do with environments and behaviors, and how you're treating people, how you're not treating people. What situations are you putting people in that are helping them find success? And that's kind of the things that I've got really clear on, that is what I want to focus on. I can talk about the tools, we can do all those things, but that is something I want to focus on. And at that point, every room I was in, we were doing icebreakers, we were doing things to help build connection. Every post that I make, it may have some technical components, it may not have some technical components. That's okay. But I got super clear on that one effort of everywhere I go, everywhere that I have a conversation or someone gets to see me, they're going to see that. And I think where I saw the result of that is I was I was visiting one of our offices, and we had someone there that kind of, I mean, custodial. He kind of does a lot of stuff. He manages a lot of the things on site. He helps with the building. He does clean. He does a lot of things, and I get to speak to him every time I show up. And one visit, I was up there, and I ran into him, gave him a hug, gave Larry a hug, and he says, you know what I've noticed? And I said, what is that, Larry? And he goes, you come in, you do the training classes. He goes, I walk around the office a lot, so I get to see your face on the screen a lot because a lot of times you're leading things. He goes, you show up the same everywhere you go. And I mean, for someone who I'm not marketing to, I'm not intentionally trying to get him to put me in a room or to do something like that. When he said that, it just reinforced that an intentional focus, maybe not even an action, but an intentional focus on what's important to me is being seen and heard to people that I'm not being intentionally, I'm not marketing to, but for him to feel that, and then that means maybe the people that I am trying to market to are feeling it also.
Love it. All right, so I think I have some less than awesome news. I'm able to drop the link, the Teams link on YouTube and Facebook, but I'm not able to drop it on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So we'll have, oh, look, we got Jeremy Blair.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Look at that. Charlie says, yeah, Adam exists in a culture, even if he tries to ignore it. 100%.
Exactly.
All right. So Jeremy, yeah, like we're struggling right now. I can't, it won't let me copy the link into LinkedIn. So we'll have to figure that out. Give us a few minutes.
But we are on YouTube, and you can go to YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Good call, Jen. Great call. On YouTube, the link, I dropped the link there, and it looks like it let it go through. So if you go search No BS with Jen and Jess, you'll be able to see the link there. Hang on, folks. Let me, did it come through? Yeah. It's live on the YouTube. So No BS with Jen and Jess. If you don't mind going there to find the link, because other than that, it's gonna be a damn mess.
It's going to probably be a dang mess anyway, but we're just trying something different. So it may work, it may not work.
Yeah. Jeremy's like, okay, I need your YouTube link. I don't know how to do that. Well, maybe I do.
It's just No BS with Jen and Jess on YouTube. We have our own page, and it should have, if Jesse did it right, it should have the link.
I did. I just checked, girl. Shoot. I'm a whatchamacallit. I'm an internet genius.
There we go. Somebody just shared the YouTube link.
Somebody shared it? Oh my God. That's what I love about the community. All right. So again, oh yes, look at that. Yo. Thank you, Jake. You're the man. All right. Question. What's one small intentional action you could take today that would realign how people experience you with who you really are? And so I've got Jeremy got it. Badass. Thank you, bro. It's this. It's opening up my OnlyFans, the TikTok, like letting people see more the TikTok version of Jesse, #fishnets, #fans only. Thank you, James, for calling that out, because people need to know that does exist. What do you think about that one, Jennifer Lee?
No, yeah, that and the grammar. I'm just like, I don't even know how I'm still here.
I love it. Well, folks, amazing conversation with y'all. Y'all were bringing the heat today. There's some cheat codes in there on how to, like, if you want to target tradespeople out there in the field, right? Go to Clyde, drop some stuff. We got a lot of really amazing stuff. I appreciate your focus, your attention, the energy you shared with us today. If you're available for the after party, the links are out there. It might be messy, so bear with us. But the after party, you don't have to have your video camera on. We want to talk, see what you thought. We're going to have the one little, we'll say, starter question. And if you're catching this on the replay, what's one small little action that you can do to realign how people experience you with who you really are? Because I know you're amazing, and we need more of amazingness out there in the world. And so thank you, Sarah.
You're instigating. No.
We're going to have some fishnets in Sedona, baby. You just wait and see. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Chicken